Welcome back. Now we'll be dealing with the elimination method. In my own opinion, the elimination method is kind of easier than the substitution method. Now let's move on. What's the elimination method? In the elimination method, one variable is eliminated by adding or subtracting the equations, and this leaves us with only one variable. When we have gotten one variable, we can now substitute into any of the equations to get the second variable. We have two examples here. Let me show you how to add or subtract equations. We have two examples here. The first one that says x plus 4y equals 6 and x plus 3y equals 4. Now, look at these equations carefully. After carefully looking at these equations, you observe that there is a positive x in equation 1 and there is another positive x in equation 2. That means if you minus them, x will minus x and to give you 0, while the y side will be 4y minus 3y, which is now y, and then 6 minus 4 will be equal to 2. You can see the x has been totally eliminated. Don't forget, the first thing you have to always do whenever you want to use the elimination method is to align your variables. Your x's will be together in a straight line, your y's will be together in a straight line, and then your numbers will be together on a straight line. So you don't go and minus x from y. If you do that, you will get the wrong answer. Now, let's look at the second example. You have x plus 2y equals 6 and 3x minus 2y equals 10. If you observe very well, you see that the y variable has 2y at the top and minus 2y at the bottom. This is where it gets tricky. Don't go and subtract the 2y at the top from the 2 at the bottom. Always take note of the negative sign. Because 2y minus 2y is actually 4y. But 2y plus minus 2y is equal to 0. Because the plus sign and the minus will multiply themselves to give you minus. So that leaves you with 2 minus 2, which is 0. That means the y is now zeroed out. Now you know x plus 3x is equal to 4x, and 6 plus 10 equals 16. You can see that the y is now eliminated. Very simple. We'll look at more examples to further explain. Now, let's take a practical example. We have x plus 2y equals 6 and 3x minus 2y equals 10. The first step is to number your equations. So we call the first one equation 1, and we call the second one equation 2, and that's all for step 1. Step 2 is to add or subtract the equation. So whether you're adding or subtracting solely depends on how your equation actually comes out. So it's left to you to observe the equation and decide which you are to do. Looking at this problem, I can easily tell that if I add 2y and minus 2y, it will give me plus 2y plus minus 2y, and plus multiplied by minus is minus. So we have 2y minus 2y, which is 0, and that way I've eliminated y. And that's what I did. Then adding further, I have x plus 3x will give me 4x. And 6 plus 10 is equals to what? 16. So we have 4x equals 16. So we divide both sides by 4 will cancel 4 on the left-hand side and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So we have x equals 4. So we have gotten our value for x. The next step is to substitute that value for x into either equation 1 or equation 2, to get our value for y. And I chose equation 1. You can choose equation 2 if you want to. So substituting, I have equation 1 to be x plus 2y equals 6. So that means wherever I see x now, I will input 4. So it brings us to 4 plus 2y equals 6. Now, you take 4 to the right-hand side to make y subject of the formula. Which brings us to 2y equals 6 minus 4. We know 6 minus 4 is equal to 2. So we have 2y equals 2. Then we divide both sides by 2 to make y equals 2 over 2 on the right-hand side, which is equals to 1. So, our x now is equal to 4, and our y is equal to 1, and that is all. If you don't know how to check your answers in simultaneous equation, you should watch my video on substitution. I explained that thoroughly. Always make sure you check if your answers are correct by substituting your values for x and y into the original equations you were given in the question. Take a minute to like and subscribe, that's how you appreciate us. Now let's try another example. We have 3x plus 4y equals 9 and 2x plus 3y equals 8. This is an examination question. So the first step is to number your equations. So we call the first one equation 1, and we call the second one equation 2. Moving forward, we can see that both equation 1 and equation 2 don't have any value that can automatically eliminate themselves by just adding or subtracting. Now we apply this trick. You look for two numbers that if you multiply one by equation 1 and the other by equation 2, one of either x or y variable will become the same. And then you can eliminate them. As you can see here, I chose to eliminate the x part of the equation by multiplying the whole of equation 1 by 2. And the whole of equation 2 by 3. Remember, if you multiply, you have to multiply through the equation. Not just your x or just your y value but the whole equation. If I wanted to eliminate y, I would multiply equation 1 by 3 and multiply equation 2 by 4 and I will get 12 in both equation 1 and equation 2. You have to just look closely, the numbers you will use are in your equation already. You just have to flip it and then multiply through. Now see, I'm multiplying equation 1 by 2 to make x 6x and multiplying equation 2 by 3 to make x also 6x. Do you understand? So now, multiplying equation 1 by 2, we have 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times 4y is 8y, and 2 times 9 is 18. Now, multiplying equation 2 by 3, we have 3 times 2x is what? 6x. 3 times 3y is what? 9y. And 3 times 8 is what? 24. Since we've gotten fresh new equations with different values, we name them new equations, which are equation 3 and equation 4, so that you will not make a mistake. Like I told you, we name equations for reference purposes. Now, you can see that if I subtract equation 3 from equation 4, the x values will be 6x minus 6x, and it will turn to 0. Now, we know 8y minus 9y is equal to what? Minus y, and 18 minus 24 is equals to minus 6. Now, we just divide both sides by minus 1 to cancel out the negative sign, and we have y equals to 6. Moving forward, to get our value for x, we'll substitute the value for y, which is now 6, into either of the equations. I chose equation 1, so from equation 1, we have 3x plus 4y equals 9. Now we're going to substitute. That means anywhere we see y, we're going to impute 6. So, we have 3x plus 4, bracket open input 6 and then close the bracket, all equal to 9. Which brings us to 3x plus 6 times 4 is 24. Write down 24, all equal to 9. We take like terms, and we have 3x equals 9 minus 24, because 24 will now go to the right hand side and turn negative. 9 minus 24 is minus 15. That's why you have 3x equals minus 15. So now we divide both sides by 3 to give us minus 15 divided by 3, which is equal to minus 5. So therefore, our answers are x equals minus 5 and y equals 6. Don't forget to check your answers. I don't need to speak about that so much. Let's look at one more example. So, for example 3, we have b plus 5a equals 17, and 8a minus 2b equals 2. The first thing you do is number your equations. So, we have equation 1 and equation 2. Now, always remember to look at your questions very carefully. Now, if you look carefully, you'll see that there is a twist here. You can see that the a's and the b's in this question are not aligned. So, what do? You align it yourself. So, you write your a first, which is 5a plus b equals 17, and, well, for equation 2, you have 8a minus 2b equals 2. You can now see that your a's and your b's are now aligned. What just happened here is why you write a test and you feel you got the answers correctly, and when you come outside the exam hall, you're getting a equals to 10 and your mates are getting a is equals to 5, and you guys actually did the same thing. But then, you got the wrong answer because you weren't observant enough. So, after aligning, we have noticed that nothing from these equations can naturally eliminate themselves by adding or subtracting. This is when you do the trick. This is when you have to look for numbers to multiply your equations so you can make them eliminate themselves. You can clearly see that if you multiply equation 1 by 2 and equation 2 by 1, the b part of this equation will be 2b and minus 2b, of which when you add your equations, the b variable will eliminate themselves. If we wanted to eliminate the a part, we will multiply equation 1 by 8 and equation 2 by 5. You can now see how the trick works. But we chose to eliminate the b part so our numbers don't get too large. Do you understand? Good. So, 2 times is 10, 2 times b is 2b, and 2 times 17 is 34. And for the equation 2, multiplying anything by 1 will give you the same value. So now that you have 8a minus 2b equals 2, you can now see that if you add these equations together, the b part will be eliminated. Cos 2b plus minus 2b is 2b minus 2b, which is equal to 0. Then 10a minus 8a will give you 2a, and 34 minus 2 will give you 32. Okay, we are left with 2a equals 32. So we just divide both sides by 2 to now get a equals 16. Since we've gotten our value for a, we'll now substitute 16 for a, in either equation 1 or equation 2. I chose equation 1. Let's proceed. Equation 1 is b plus 5a equals 17. Substituting, we have b plus 5, now instead of a, we put 16, all equal to 17. Now, we have b plus 5 times 16 is 80. All equals 17. Now, we take the 80 to the right-hand side of the equation and it changes to negative 80. And 17 minus 80 is equals minus 63. So our answer are a equals 16 and b equals minus 63. Remember to always check your answers to prove that they are correct. You should try that out and see what you've learned so far and comment the answers in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you guys, and watch out for my next video.